up, beautiful? It's your girl Ekinina, and you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. Let's get it. Ow. Let's get it. Doing the most goes wrong. On today's episode, we're gonna be discussing our crazy labor and delivery birth story during this crazy pandemic COVID situation. You ready? So first of all, I was induced at 38 weeks. What is induction? Induction is artificially starting labor. What is labor? The process of the body contracting and doing all these magical things to push out the baby, right? So induction happens when the doctor feels that there's a greater risk of the baby being inside, so they try and get it out as fast as they can, basically. I mentioned in my Don't Announce Your Pregnancy video about how sick I was throughout my pregnancy, so check that video out as well. But we determined that it was better to get the baby out before the 40-week mark that they usually like to have women go up till. But by 38, they're full term, they're chilling, get out. Eviction notice, get out. No more free rent, no more free food, get out. Time to get out. So our appointment was actually scheduled for 7 a.m. but they called me the day of to say, sorry, we gotta cancel it or we gotta move it back because we're so packed. So my mom and I went in at 11 a.m. as they requested, but then they said, please just go get some lunch or something because we're just so busy. Okay, whatever. I went with my mom because I'm only allowed to have one person with me throughout this whole situation because of COVID. And I can't switch that person can't leave the unit, they cannot leave the hospital, like it's crazy. I'm not complaining because some women are not allowed to have any person with them. Social distancing, which is totally fair, but crazy because childbirth is a crazy, traumatic, life-changing, life or death situation. So many things can go wrong during pregnancy, especially if there's any complications. I think we forget that because we just see the end result, the cute babies. Shout out to every woman who's gone through this because let me tell you. So we left the unit, got some lunch, took a quick nap, went back up after a couple of hours and they still weren't ready for us, but they said, okay, you can hang out for a little while. All right, so they checked my cervix to make sure it wasn't dilated or whatever. Then they stuck the medication up there. Woo, child, not fun. That was like the worst part. And then they told me this medication can work in half an hour or it can work in 3 days. Went home, ate, slept, got up to use the bathroom, and I noticed I was having cramps, but it wasn't too bad. But within me getting up and using the bathroom, and literally like 5 minutes after that, it started to get pretty intense. They told me to come back to the hospital if I was having contractions that were constant and not so spaced apart. I think they told me it was like 5 minutes or less apart, and if they were lasting about 3 minutes, something like that. That started happening right off the bat. Like it's supposed to start off like maybe like 20 minutes apart or something. No. It was literally like 3 minutes apart each time. It was so intense right from the beginning. How do you describe a contraction? It takes over your whole body, mind, soul, spirit. Like it just, you can't walk, you can't talk, can't eat, can't laugh. You just have to and let it just do its thing because there's nothing you can do about that, girlfriend. Just nothing you can do about it. Like it's just, you can't do anything about the pain itself, but you can do some other things, like you can distract yourself. That's what I learned through this process. I just would start counting the ceiling tiles or whatever is there. I would start reading something. Like I would just distract myself as much as I could from that pain. That was my strategy. Doesn't really take away the pain, but it helps it pass the time before the pain stops again. Make sense? So they told me if I'm going through these patterns of contractions for 2 hours, I need to come back to hospital like right away, right? Especially because my situation was like a high risk situation. At about an hour and 45 minutes or so, I said, you know what, mom, we should probably go to the hospital. It was getting more and more intense, and that's what they told me. And we were about 20 minutes drive from the hospital. So I said, okay, let's go so that when we get there, we're at the 2 hour mark, they can't send us back home. I've heard so many stories where ladies say they get sent back home from the hospital. So I wanted to make sure that I met the criteria before I went to the hospital. I thugged it out, man. I thugged it out. So I get to the hospital and my mom drops me at the door so that she can go in the parking. So I was like, I'll go to the unit while you park your car, no problem. I didn't even make it to the unit. She ended up catching up with me because I was in so much pain. I could not walk. I was like, what if I have this baby on the floor right here and this place is empty because of COVID? Thankfully, my mom caught up to me, held on to her, walked up to the unit. It was so empty, so quiet, complete opposite of what it was in the morning. I saw this first nurse and she was just like,
can I help you?
With like all this attitude, and I was like, I think I'm in labor. They told me to come if this is what I'm feeling. She was like,
okay, so it's your first child?
And I said, yes. She said,
well, if you got induced, you know, it could take up to 3 days. So like, I don't even know why you're here right now if it's only been 2 hours.
I'm like, cause y'all told me to. In fact, they even gave me a piece of paper saying exactly that. Come back if this is happening. And I said, this is what's happening. So she's like,
okay, I guess I'll like show you whatever.
So she takes me to this room that was not like a private room or a birthing room. It was just like a monitoring room because I guess she really didn't believe me that I was in labor. Whatever. Strapped me up to the monitors, watching the heart rate, everything. Cool. I'm in so much pain. So she's like, the doctor is in the delivery room right now, so I don't know when she's gonna be back up. So there's only one doctor throughout this whole place that can. 2 hours goes by, no doctor. 2 more hours goes by, no doctor. I'm getting so sick from this pain. I start vomiting. The nurse is like, I'm gonna give you an injection for pain, morphine. If you know me, you know I do not take medications, really. Like, I'm so sensitive. Oh, child, when I took that morphine, I was in Mars. I was shaking. I was like this. Oh my God. Like, I was a hot mess, bro. Hot mess. That she tried to check my cervix to see if I'm dilated because the contractions are supposed to dilate, which is like open up your cervix to get ready for the baby to come out. She couldn't do it because I was in so much pain. So she's all rude and huff and puffing and saying,
I don't know how you're gonna have this baby when you can't even deal with like a simple cervix check.
And then to make it worse, she goes out to the nursing station and tells all the nurses, you can literally hear her, she's so loud. She doesn't even make an effort to like conceal that she's so loud.
How's she gonna handle childbirth? Ugh, one of those.
Telling everyone, how am I gonna have a baby when I can't even handle a simple cervix check? She said that to me, that wasn't rude enough. She went outside and told everyone. Okay, cool, no worries. The morphine, to me, did not help. Everybody reacts different, but for me, it just made things worse. It just made me drowsy. So like, I didn't even have enough mental energy or physical energy to fight off the pain when it came or to absorb the pain when it came. It just made me sleepy in between the pain. I would not do that for a second time. Count me out. Count me out, B. I was drowsy, I was confused, I was shaking, like I said. I was a hot mess, you know, like just, I went downhill. My heart rate, everything was just going downhill with morphine. Oh my God. So finally the nurse kind of feels bad, I guess, and she's like, I need to call this doctor. Ended up transferring me to the birthing room. Oh, hold up. Before they transferred me to the birthing room, I must mention, the same nurse says to me,
are you sure you'd rather not deal with all of this in your own bed at home?
I'm sorry, what? What I wanted to say to her is, are you dumb? Are you mad? Are you crazy? Deal with what in my own, why would I go home when I'm feeling like this? Like, no, if you can't save me, who's gonna save me at home? Who's gonna, what? But what I said was, I feel better staying here actually at this point. I was in so much pain. I'm like, there's no way this baby's not coming today. Like, it's just crazy. Like, I didn't even know how induction worked. Like, I thought for some reason that the medicine would work and then the baby would come right away. I thought that was the whole point of using this medicine. It's like, when it worked, it worked. Apparently you can be in that pain for like 3 days. I ain't built like that. I'm a dancer. I'm used to having bumps and bruises and nicks and knacks, but this is a different kind of pain. Like, it's, I don't even know. I don't even want to talk about it because it's just, to be fair, I was told that the medication I was given actually causes way more pain than if you went a normal, natural labor. I wasn't just being a big baby. It was actually like a crazy medicine. Like, at one point, we ended up having to take it out because it was overstimulating me. Because you see, it's supposed to have some time in between contractions. there was no break. It was literally like one pain would end and the other would start right away. They kept telling me that the doctor was also in the emergency room because of COVID and all this, everything's backed up. So scary. About an hour or two later, the doctor finally came through. He was really nice, checked my cervix, and I was about 2 centimeters dilated. And I thought, oh my God, all this pain I'm going through for what? For what? About 9 hours into all this madness, and I couldn't deal with it anymore. I said I need an epidural. I didn't mention I didn't have an epidural this whole time because I thought it would be a quick thing. I thought that as soon as the medication started that I would have the baby. My mom, all her labors were quick. I came out in like 10 minutes. My brother, everybody from my mom came out real quick. So I was hoping that that would be my situation too. Yeah. I came in with a plan of the less medication I have to take during this process, the better. Every single medication has its risks to it, and you heard how I did with morphine. But knowing that this thing could take however long, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna, just give me the epidural. Just give me it. If it's gonna take away all this pain, just give me the epidural. The actual process was very good. Like the anesthesiologists were amazing. They were so good, and it was just a little pinch in my back. After that, it gets numb, so you can't feel anything else you're doing. And then they ask you, oh, how is your legs? Like, can you feel your legs? They put an ice pack. Can you feel it here? Can you feel it there? It was pretty fine for me. Everybody has a totally different experience. I have an aunt who completely reacted terribly to epidural. Everybody's different. It is what it is. For me, it worked fine. I can still feel my legs. Some people, they can't feel their legs at all and they can't walk at all and they need a catheter and everything inserted. I didn't need any of that, thankfully. Got the epidural. 10 minutes later, after getting this epidural, I felt a pop boop, in my abdomen, and I felt like water, like I peed or something, you know? Water broke, water broke, water broke, water broke, water. My mom was in the room with me and she went out to tell the nurses, hey, I think her water broke. They were
like, are you sure? It could be so many things.
Why are you fighting me? I'm literally like the only one in this unit right now. Like, it's empty. Y'all are not busy. Y'all are out there talking. Like, anyways. So they came in and they said, okay, I guess her water did break. So the nurse had all the attitude, was like, see?
You just needed to relax the whole time. The epidural helped you relax, and that's all your body needs to do its own thing. It's just to relax.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to relax, except I'm in a lot of pain, lady. Like, her son was like 25 years old. So like the last time you did this, lady, it was 25 years ago. In fact, she was even laughing with my mom, like,
oh, you know, kids these days, oh, they can't even handle the pain. Kids these days, oh, blah, 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 blah.
Okay, so I'm hip and I'm young. I'm young and I'm hip. I'm hip and I'm young. I'm young and I'm hip. I'm young and I'm hip. So the doctor came in, and unfortunately she was worried now about the baby's heart rate, saying it's all high and whatever, and they started discussing within themselves about me having a C-section. What? It's literally been 10 hours of this labor, and now you all of a sudden you want to suggest C-section? Like, no, I did not go through all this pain for a C-section. If you wanted to do a C-section, you should have done that 9 hours ago, okay? The nurse is arguing with the doctor, saying, nope, she's not doing that. The doctor saying, yep, she is. Do you know how scary it is when your healthcare providers are all like arguing and not on the same page? It's pretty scary. While they were arguing, I can feel some things popping up in here.
Maybe it was my intuition again that something was going on. And I said, can someone please check it out? And they're like, we just checked it out. Like, you're 3 centimeters dilated. Like, you're good. Like, you're probably good for another hour.
Please, please, you're here. Just check it, please. They checked it, and guess what? 10 centimeters dilated. This means you're open, you're ready to go. This means the baby's gonna pop out any second. So the doctor was like, oh, change of plans. I guess we're gonna push out this baby. And I was like, guess we are. 15 minutes later, the baby was born. Just like that. So how did COVID impact this labor and delivery? The fact that I was only able to have one person when initially I wanted to have my husband and my sister and my mom and my sister-in-law, because they would make such a dynamic team. Hubby was on FaceTime the whole time, of course. falls asleep half the time, but that's okay. Different story. Pacing back and forth because he's nervous, making me nervous. I had to coach him through my pregnancy and be like, stop walking up and down, just relax, take a deep breath, it's okay. Like, so funny. Thankfully, everything happened in one night, because if it was like 3 days long, then it might have been trickier, because what if she realizes she forgot something at home? She can't even leave to come back. Another way it impacted it was the doctor was super caught up and wasn't able to come see me. My actual doctor wasn't even there because he was on isolation, which really sucked. All my appointments leading up to the delivery, which were quite a lot because they were really monitoring the baby very often, I wasn't allowed to have anybody with me, which really sucked. I wasn't allowed to walk up and down the hallway. It was very highly discouraged, so I had to stay in my room the whole time. Wasn't allowed any visitors, of course, after birth. Leading up to it emotionally was really scary because there's hardly any research about pregnancy and newborns and COVID. If I were to use the other viruses that are similar, like SARS and MERS, those were pretty bad for moms and babies. Are they gonna test my baby and keep me isolated from her? What if I'm positive? Does it pass through breast milk? Like, how does it work? There's hardly any research. Things were changing every single day. Like, it was intense. Like, even going into the hospital, being in labor, I was in so much pain, and they still had to ask me the questionnaire. Have you been anywhere in the last 14 days? Have you been around anyone who's positive? Have you been around anyone who's traveled? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I like, can we like speed this up? Because like a baby's about to fall out. Yeah. So this is what I mean when I say don't listen to your nurses, is that you need to advocate for yourself. You need to push and say, this is what I feel. I could have gone home and I could have accidentally had this baby in a car, at home, whatever it was. But I said, no, please, I need to stay here. So I'm not saying don't listen to them if they say take this or take that, but advocate for yourself, right? You have to understand that your body is telling you what's up. Your body is letting you know what it needs and what it doesn't need. You are the expert in your own body. Nobody can feel what you can feel except for you. You have your own back, I'm telling you. It's a scary time. I just want to encourage every mom that's going through the situation right now to just stay strong, stay vigilant, stay using words you actually know how to pronounce, stay praying. Pregnancy itself is not easy. There's so many things that are scary, especially if there's any complication whatsoever. And then on top of that, being in the middle of a pandemic, you're just like, I really hope this baby's first word isn't corona. So you can click on the screen right now on my pregnancy announcement video, and it goes into a little bit of detail about where I was and what I was going through while I was even pregnant. And thank you so much again for tuning in. Hope you're washing your hands. Don't be nasty. See you again. Lots of love. Mwah.